Welcome back from spring break, everyone. This week we will discuss quality control in the cancer registry. It is essential that a cancer registry has a quality control plan. A quality control plan is a carefully planned set of activities to ensure that data is acceptable to be used. Quality control focuses on the process of producing the product with the intent of eliminating problems that might result in defects. And as we know, defective data is costly in many ways. Registry coordinators and managers from hospitals, as well as population-based registries, perform quality control by monitoring the planned activities and taking appropriate action as necessary to positively affect future quality. So it is not only to fix what was done incorrectly, but also to prevent it from happening again. An annual control plan is required by the Commission on Cancer, the COC, for hospital cancer registries. The plan must be established by the hospital's cancer committee. The COC requires that the cancer committee includes the following in the quality control plan. They must set the review criteria and the timetable, specify the quality control methods, sources, and individuals involved, identify the activities to be evaluated, define the scope of the evaluation, and establish the minimum quality benchmarks. As part of this annual control plan, a physician review of cancer registry data must be completed. This is just one of many ways the cancer registrar's data is reviewed for accuracy. There are 5 aspects of data quality that must be addressed in the cancer registry in both hospital and central registries. And those are accuracy, case completion, data completion, timeliness, and consistency. Accuracy of data is the most commonly thought of characteristic of data quality. Methods to assess accuracy include computerized edit checks, visual editing, recoding audits, and re-abstracting studies. This presentation will not go into detail of these methods since that is part of this week's assignment. The second method is case completeness, which ensures that all incidences of reportable cases are collected by the hospital and central registries. Case incidence completeness can be evaluated through case finding audits, independent case ascertainment, death certificate only, and historical data review. The most common method of case finding audits for hospital and central registries is the disease indices or disease index, which we have discussed in the past. These are the monthly lists of all the patients that have an encounter at your facility with a cancer diagnosis. Independent case ascertainment is the estimations from an independent survey of cases or sources. This is not commonly utilized due to being very costly. And we have death certificate only, also known as the DCO. And that's another method to assess case completeness by monitoring the DCO rate. These are reportable cases that the only information that the central registry has is a death certificate with a cancer diagnosis. We'll learn more about DCOs next year. Another method to evaluate case completeness is the historic data method. This involves comparison of the number of cases expected based on previous years or on standard incidence rate with those observed. If the number of cases decrease, the data is usually broken down by site to determine if that may indicate the cause of the decrease in cases. There may be legitimate reasons for the numbers to go down. For instance, if a specialty surgeon has left the organization and those cases would no longer be diagnosed or treated at your facility, that could be why the numbers went down. Another reason may be changes in screening of a particular cancer, such as breast cancer. In the past few years, the guidelines have been revised by organizations that state females do not need to be screened at such an early age or as often. This may be a reason that numbers may decrease. When reviewing the data, you must be aware of the different things that are going on at your facility, guideline changes, as well as making sure your case finding process was complete. Data completeness is the comprehensiveness of the data collected, the specification of the code values, and the avoidance of omissions. Are there ill-defined or unknown codes in the data? Or is there therapy or the treatment or follow-up information that is not included that should be? Even if the treatment is given elsewhere, it is still the responsibility of the registrar to obtain that information from the outside facility or from that facility's cancer registry. So even if treatment is given elsewhere, you still need to include that data information in your abstract. Not only does the data have to be complete, but the text documentation must be complete as well. The text should include dates and be as specific as possible, including the crucial information pertaining to the data collected and coded within the abstract. Timeliness is important when your facility participates in research studies. The clinical research associates need to know which studies are appropriate to open for your facility. It takes time and money to open clinical trials. They will depend on you to determine the most appropriate studies to open. If there's a study that they can open, but you only see 5 cases of that type of cancer, that might not be worth the while to open it. So using your data, that's very important to them. If your facility publishes an annual report, timeliness is also very important. If the data is not collected, then no data can be included in the annual report. It is also important to submit your data to the central registry in a timely manner. Even if the data are accurate and complete, it may not be useful to the state if there is a significant time between the date of diagnosis and the date that you submitted it. The Wisconsin Central Registry actually awards certificates to facilities that submit their data to them in a timely manner at our Wisconsin Cancer Registry Association state conference each fall. They kind of get a pat on the back when they do their submissions in a timely manner. Coding consistency can be difficult to assess and monitor. Registries may never attain 100% consistency in coding. However, studies can be helpful in achieving high levels of consistency. Comparative coding is one way to monitor consistency. A reliability study uses a set of standardized medical charts that are abstracted by registrars. The results are then analyzed. Because the registrars are coding from the same medical record, differences in coding can be readily detected. At that point, education and training can be targeted for those areas in disagreement. Reliability studies are particularly useful when new data fields or changes in coding are introduced. It was one type of study that was used years ago to determine that cancer registry abstractors should be credentialed as certified tumor registrars, and that is why the COC now requires CTRs to complete their abstracting. This study that was conducted determined that without the formal education of anatomy and physiology and other coursework, the data was not accurate or consistency. So it was very important that CTRs did complete that abstract. And that's why the COC now requires COC accredited facilities to have CTRs abstract their cases. Another method that can be used to ensure consistency is peer review or re-abstracting of each other's work. This is how it can be determined that registrars that work with each other and are in the same office or facility are abstracting things differently or have interpreted coding definitions differently. Obviously, this method cannot be used when there is only one registrar in the facility's cancer registry. But if you have more than one cancer registrar in the facility, you should definitely have peer review be part of that quality plan. Benchmarking is an important aspect of quality control. Benchmarking is the process of improving performance by continually identifying, understanding, and adapting outstanding practice and processes found inside and outside an organization. Benchmarking focuses on how to improve any process by using best practices rather than simply measuring the best performance. Obtaining adequate measurements before implementation of a new or improved process is crucial. For COC accredited hospital registries, the COC does offer benchmarking through the Cancer Program Practice Profile Reports, or what are called the CP3R measures. Key points for this week. A quality control plan must be in place. Know the 5 aspects of data quality. Know the 4 methods to assess accuracy. Know that the most used methods to determine case completion are the disease indices, or the disease index, and death certificate only. And data completeness is determined by percentage of unknown values and the text documented. All right, so those are key points for this week's presentation and reading. So if you have any questions about the presentation or your assignment, please post them in the virtual office. Hope everyone has a great first week back from spring break. Welcome back. Have a great week.